Before the COVID set in, I went to Tanzania to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. It was my first ever climb to a mountain. We were a small group of people from different parts of the world, and we had a fantastic crew who was guiding us up the mountain. The overall trek was for 7 days, and we were on the last day of the trek, the last leg. You see, we were already at a height of 4,670 meters, and the summit was at a height of 5,895 meters, which is approximately about 1.2 kilometers. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, it is really very hard because we were talking about walking through really cold weather and chilly winds which were trying to slice through our skin. We had these guides who had been taking us through the trek for the previous 6 days, and every time they briefed us, one thing that they told us was to go pole pole, which in Swahili meant go slowly, slowly. I thought that that had really seeped into our system, and we started our trek at 11 p.m. at night, and we were expected to take about 8-9 hours to get to the summit. Once we started walking, a couple of people, 1 hour into the trek, couple of them requested the main guide, that they wanted to go a little faster. Now, so he asked one of the other guides to take these two guys a little faster than the rest of the group. Another half an hour into the trek, it struck me that it was so cold, and maybe if I walked faster, it would be easier for me because my body would be warmer and the overall trek would be cut short from, say, about 8-9 hours to maybe 6 hours, so I could save that time. And I immediately went to the main guide and I told him, is it possible for me to go a little faster? So he didn't want to disappoint. He was reluctant, but not wanting to disappoint, he asked one of the other guides to take me and one more person a little faster than the rest of the group. But only in a matter of minutes, I was so exhausted from the effort of trying to go faster that I had to stop. Seeing this, the main guide put his foot down and he said that everybody had to just go slow and nobody was going to go faster. The other two people had already gone ahead. So I went along, I did not resist, and I kept going, and trust me, it was one of the hardest nights of my life. The only thing that kept me going was the fact that I was with a group of people, and also that I kept focusing on just the next step, and each step was so small. I really wasn't paying attention to our final destination. Eventually, we got to our destination at about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I can't tell you the feeling of acceleration and relief that I experienced when we got there. I learned a very important lesson that day. One of the things that I've seen happening in many people's lives, including mine, is that we set up important goals and start working towards those goals with a lot of enthusiasm and excitement. And because of this very enthusiasm, we decide to do things faster and set up a higher pace. And somehow in our minds, that's a great thing. But as the days and the weeks pass, our enthusiasm starts to go down and we are not able to keep up with that pace. And the less we are able to keep up with the pace, more we feel frustrated, and we have this little voice in our heads trying to tell us that you're good for nothing and you can't even do this much. And all this disappointment and dejection generally leads to just one thing: the need to give up. What I learned that day was not to get sidetracked by the need to get faster and go at a faster pace towards your goal. Because faster is not the same as being better. By the time I reached the summit, I did not care how much time it had taken me to climb, but what really mattered was the fact that I had achieved my goal, I had summited. And by the way, the two people who had gone ahead, one of them was the strongest person within the group. He had a six-pack ab, was from the army, etc. However, halfway through the trek, he had to turn around because he was so exhausted from the effort of trying to go faster that he could not continue any longer. And this only reiterated the lesson that I had learned. When it comes to achieving significant goals, it is not the time that will matter, but the fact that you persisted to keep going till your goal that will. So keep your eye on the goal and remember to go pole pole.